Ever wondered where Armenia is? Many folks mistake it for a place straight out of a fairy tale, but truth be told, Armenia is a real deal, chock full of charm and secrets waiting to be uncovered. Eager to dig deeper? Well, buckle up, hit that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell to dive into the fascinating quirks and mysteries that make Armenia, and other extraordinary countries, truly stand out. Nestled in the Caucasus region, stretching across Eastern Europe and Western Asia, Armenia is a tiny country sandwiched between Turkey to the west and Azerbaijan to the east, bordered by Georgia to the north and Iran to the south. With no access to the sea, Armenia heavily relies on land routes through Georgia and Iran for its transportation and communication needs. Yerevan, the bustling capital of Armenia, beats like the heart of the country, hosting most of the commercial activities and drawing the bulk of visitors. This city shines as one of the most advanced spots in Armenia. Yet, beyond its urban borders, the country unfolds into a tapestry of small rural communities where life moves at a slower pace. Armenia's journey is deeply marked by its time under Soviet rule and tensions with neighboring nations. In the early 20th century, it was absorbed by Bolshevik Russia and became part of the Soviet Union, along with Georgia and Azerbaijan, forming the Transcaucasian Socialist Federative Soviet Republic from 1922. Situated in an area prone to seismic activities, Armenia faced a devastating earthquake in 1988, claiming the lives of around 23,000 people. Linguistically and culturally, Armenians maintain a strong bond with their native language, Armenian. Nonetheless, it's not uncommon to hear conversations in Russian and English on the streets. Genetically, Armenians exhibit distinctive characteristics associated with the Caucasus, setting them apart from Slavic peoples. In Armenia, a country with a limited market and scarce job opportunities, it's common for its residents, especially entrepreneurs, to seek business opportunities in Russia and European nations. Armenian women, initially active in the workforce, often prioritize family care and husband support, reflecting the cultural significance of motherhood in a country of around 3 million people. This emphasis on increasing the population is crucial for the nation's future, especially considering that there are approximately 200,000 more women than men, largely due to young male emigration to Europe. In Yerevan, the capital, cleanliness and vehicle diversity are noticeable. However, a peculiar thing stands out on the main streets. Pedestrians often ignore traffic lights, crossing the roads whenever they wish, regardless of stop or go signals. This practice seems to stem from the lack of a strict penalty system regulating such behaviors. During summers in Yerevan, the weather can be particularly harsh, dominated by intense heat and low humidity. However, visitors find relief and photogenic opportunities in the various fountains scattered throughout the city. Making urban mobility easier, Yerevan takes pride in its efficient metro system, connecting different parts of the city. Near the stations, especially in the bustling areas, you can explore used bookstores and shops selling antique relics. Dating back to the Soviet period, Yerevan is a living museum with its numerous statues and architectural constructions from that era. Several buildings in the heart of the city are still in use, reflecting the Soviet legacy. Plazas become vibrant meeting points during weekends, reflecting the locals' love for spending time in green areas and cafes. The staff at these establishments are known for their friendliness and willingness to help, often joining visitors for photos with a smile. It's crucial to steer clear of political topics when interacting with locals in Armenia, given the internal and external political instability the country experiences, which can lead to friction between individuals. Armenians maintain a certain reservation regarding Azerbaijan and Turkey, which influences their behavior even towards visitors from these places. At the heart of Yerevan, Republic Square is the vibrant center of social life, hosting numerous cultural and public events. In terms of transportation, the white minibuses, a common sight in the city, are the main means of public transportation. Patrolling the streets of Yerevan, you'll find a contingent of police officers in military-style uniforms, tasked with maintaining order and ensuring the safety of citizens. In Yerevan, residents often protest against the government, leading the police to be constantly on watch to prevent riots and ensure peace. A notable weak point in Yerevan is related to family conditions, especially for those with children, as the city lacks adequate spaces for kids' leisure. Visitors with children might be disappointed by the absence of specific play areas, often having to make do with the streets, which requires extra attention from parents. Despite the average of 2 children per family in Armenia, the capital still proves to be unwelcoming in terms of leisure infrastructure for the little ones. Reaching the high points of Yerevan, you can enjoy a breathtaking mountainous landscape, with Mount Ararat, located in Turkey, dominating the horizon. Looking from a higher perspective, you'll notice that Yerevan isn't an extensive metropolis, with few modern tall buildings. For those planning to live in the city, it's worth noting that luxury and comfort can be scarce, reflecting the more modest characteristics of local urbanization. Most of the housing available on the market is houses or apartments that often need renovations, and they tend to have facades painted in sober colors. In Yerevan, renting a 2-bedroom apartment costs an average of $500 per month, which is considerably high by local standards. In traffic, it's common to see older vehicles, especially Mercedes and Russian-made cars, while the more fortunate opt for newer German models. Armenia faces significant economic challenges, largely due to its high dependence on imports and scant internal production. In the capital, it's noticeable to see elderly folks still working, at a stage in life where they ideally would be retired. The local currency is the Armenian dram, with the minimum wage around 55,000 dram, which is approximately $125. The average monthly income of a citizen in Armenia ranges from $300 to $400, falling below the living standards of many European, Arab, American, and even Baltic countries. Armenia stands out in wine production, boasting high-quality beverages, making it a recommended experience for tourists to taste these wines in upscale restaurants. Venturing outside the capital and into the Armenian countryside unveils a more traditional way of life, distant from urban modernity. The country preserves vast areas of non-urbanized land that maintain the simplicity of past generations. In these rural areas, small villages are framed by majestic mountains that remain unchanged over millennia. The houses in these villages often display their natural brick or stone facades, unpainted, giving them a rustic appearance, though they are fully inhabited. In rural areas, both infrastructure and road planning reveal significant challenges for the daily lives of local residents. In rural areas of Armenia, it's common to come across vehicles with over 20 years of use, reflecting a different reality from the urban one. Many tourists leave the capital, Yerevan, drawn by the impressive high and arid landscapes of the country, which, despite its small territory, surprises with vast open spaces. These mountains offer a serene setting that many visitors find relaxing. Daily life in the villages is fascinating for tourists, especially when observing local traditions, such as making lavash bread. Women in the villages don't buy bread. Instead, they make it themselves by stretching the dough and baking it in underground ovens. In rural life, a strong sense of community prevails, with neighbors collaborating on daily tasks, like bread preparation, which is done collectively to meet the needs of all local families. The houses, with their unpainted facades and built with exposed bricks and stones, reinforce the rustic character of this region. Life in the Armenian countryside is captivating, especially because of how residents embrace self-sustainable practices, making their own bread and growing fruits and vegetables in their own gardens. Simplicity and authenticity mark the daily lives of these people, who often engage in animal husbandry and agriculture. Faith also plays a central role in the region, as evidenced by the spectacular Tatev Monastery, a 9th-century gem located atop a cliff. Reaching this historic site is an adventure in itself, thanks to the wings of Tatev cable car, famous for being the longest in the world of its kind. Armenia still holds other treasures, such as the ancient monasteries of Hagpat and Sanahin, which are fascinating and must-visit tourist spots for any visitor. The Heghard Monastery, a rock-carved sanctuary since the 4th century, is famous for guarding a treasure of Christianity, the spear that is said to have wounded Jesus during his crucifixion. On the other hand, the Sanahin Monastery, dating back to the 10th century, stands out for its refined architecture and the detailed reliefs that adorn its walls, both recognized as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Interestingly, there's an urban legend circulating that places the Garden of Eden in Armenia, supported by ancient narratives and biblical scriptures suggesting its location on Mount Ararat in the Armenian area. Additionally, Armenia is celebrated for its unique alphabet, considered one of the 3 perfect alphabets in the world, alongside the Korean and Georgian alphabets. Intriguingly, Mesrop Mashtots, the intellect behind the Armenian alphabet, is also credited with creating the Georgian alphabet. Armenia, despite not being actively at war, still finds itself in a state of technical conflict with Azerbaijan due to tensions in Nagorno-Karabakh, which erupted in 1988 when the local Armenian population expressed a desire to separate from Azerbaijan. Despite a ceasefire signed in 1994, sporadic skirmishes still occur on the borders. Christianity dominates as the most followed faith in Armenia, but recently, paganism has been gaining ground, with significant growth, even among high-ranking politicians, like the president of the Republican Party. One of the landmarks of this pagan resurgence is the Garni Temple, an ancient structure that survived the advent of Christianity and now symbolizes the revival of paganism, reflecting a quest for revitalizing Armenian cultural heritage. Interestingly, at the Yalta Conference, Winston Churchill and Stalin stood out not only for their political decisions, but also for their excessive consumption of tobacco and Armenian brandy, respectively, which fueled rumors that they attended the meetings quite affected by their indulgences. And that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and share with friends. See you next time.